Well, hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Ash Talk. I'm Jacob alongside Hayden, and we are coming to you live from frigid Michigan, where it is 20 degrees. That's why we're all bundled up.
Yep.
We have a couple of heaters going.
We have 3 heaters going. You can't see them, but they're here.
Yeah. So it's cold.
Yeah.
But we are so glad you guys are with us. We did not have an episode last week. Hayden, you were out of town and then under the weather. You can even kind of tell that Hayden's been under the weather.
This is for you.
Yeah.
This is all for you, my friend.
So today we are not smoking cigars for his health, for my mental health.
Mental health. He found out he has lung cancer. I got throat cancer. So we're just kind of, taking it day by day.
We're battling through. As Bud Grant used to say, the great ones play in pain. So that's what we're doing.
That's right.
And we're going to be bringing you a huge podcast today of all the sports that's coming up this week. We're going to have your pigskin prognosis. We're going to have your tickets to the banks, where we give our hot take for the weekend. And then I will be picking NFL games against the spread. So that's going to be coming up later on in the podcast. Just to recap from last week, lot of things happened. You had Indiana losing in college football.
Army, Colorado, Smith.
Before we went live, I told Hayden, I said, I'm going to have to rely on you on a lot of this college football stuff because I don't even know where to go from here, because that seems like the college bracket right now, 8 through 12 in those seeds, they're just playing musical chairs with who's going to get what seed and who's going to get in. And now we're going into rivalry week.
Yep.
So and then pretty soon it's Selection Sunday. So
just like that.
Hayden, what are your thoughts from this past week?
I think, I was one of those people.
God, those sound awful.
Tell me something my wife doesn't say to me every day. That's great.
No, and what are you going to
try to out of my pocket, but everything, I'm just putting me out.
There's a reason we do not have cigars in our hands right now.
I think I was one of the people that felt like a 12-team playoff would kind of help settle some of the, I should have been in, I should have been in. I feel like it, it didn't. Mm-hmm. Especially right now. I mean, with teams like Arizona State and Boise State and just some teams on the outliers.
Yep.
I think it's going to be really difficult as the playoff committee when they get together to be able to figure out, like you said, that 8 through 12. It's going to be really, really interesting. But just an insane week. Complete bracket busters.
Yep.
Conference.
Yep.
Championship busters.
Yep.
So I mean, we can talk about some of those games. We could. Where do you want to go with that? Like, I have a lot of thoughts, but do you have something you wanted to say?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think it's just I do want to touch on Indiana because we've been talking a lot about Indiana. They have problems on offense. I think their special teams, they gave up 2 touchdowns to Ohio State. 2 cheap touchdowns. I think that game could have been closer, but their offensive line was clearly outmatched in that game.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is that, like, when you go up against these bigger teams, if you aren't playing your best ball in one phase, it can literally hurt you the entire game. And that's what we've seen with Indiana and Ohio State, where their special teams wasn't playing well, their offensive line wasn't playing well. In turn, because their offensive line wasn't playing well, their quarterback wasn't playing well. And it just kind of slowly snowballed and spiraled and kept it close for the first few quarters. And then Ohio State just broke it wide open and took off.
They were Ohio State.
I think right now you have 3 or 4 teams at the top and then everybody else. And I think it's going to be fun to see if one of those teams gets momentum. Indiana basically right now is still technically in the college football playoff at 11, based on their projected brackets. So I still think they can get in and win, but Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and I would say Georgia and that 4th are kind of my top 4 teams where they have a legit chance at a national championship. Georgia even be on the outskirts, maybe not even making the playoff, but it looks like they're gonna get enough momentum to.
They got to win tonight. Georgia Tech is no joke. This is big
They'll
rivalry.
take care of business. I'm not worried.
Yeah, but then they're gonna have to turn around and play. They gotta play Texas in the SEC championship.
That's true.
I think so.
But
Rematch.
eh, I don't have. I guess the big question is can Georgia afford another loss and still justify getting in?
No.
I don't think you can. I think that Ole Miss loss was the one that like you had to
Right.
because now Ole Miss is losing, and so now their strength of finishing
Yeah, they're out.
diminishes.
Yeah.
Right now, looking at the college football playoff bracket, you would have, or right now as it stands, before we go into championship Saturday, this week is kind of rivalry week, and then we go into championship Saturday. Next week, you got Oregon number 1, you have Texas number 2, you have Miami number 3, and you have Boise State number 4. Those would be your bye seed.
This is crazy. No one's talking about Notre Dame. Notre Dame is nasty. I mean, they are looking really good.
That Northern Illinois loss is so glaring.
It's daunting for sure, but watching them then take care of business the rest of watching them obliterate Army.
Yep.
I mean, watching them the rest of the season, no one's talking about them, and I think they're going to shock the world.
Yeah.
I really do. To have a team like Miami at 3 is crazy. Again, Notre Dame shot themselves in the foot losing that game.
Right.
But anyway, I didn't interject.
I mean, I would. Yeah, it's a pretty glaring issue. I mean, for me, the big thing for me is what do you do in the Big 12? Because like that just like totally. I mean, you had BYU up there, or you had Iowa State up there.
Iowa State, BYU,
and then BYU.
Colorado.
Now Arizona's State's up
Kansas
there.
State was
Colorado lost. Like they're all like there's 3 teams: Arizona State, Iowa State, BYU, all 9-2. Everybody thought Colorado, this was their time.
Yep.
They end up completely pooping the bed last week against Kansas, which
Kansas has ruined 3 straight big-time teams.
Yeah.
Last 3 games. Ruined.
I want to talk about Colorado real quick.
They're playing right there.
Yep, they're playing right now.
And they're up 7-0.
And that's kind of what's exciting too, is we're recording this on Black Friday. Sports is now recognizing they want to take any free day they can.
100%.
And they're starting to realize that Black Friday is a massive free day that is going to be on the schedule every week, that people are finally, I mean, we have Minnesota and Wisconsin playing behind me, so that's a battle for the axe. That's like our 2 biggest, Wisconsin, Minnesota, 2 pretty,
massive rivalries.
Anyway, I'm kind of trailing off here, but I want to go back to Colorado. But it's really cool that I just wanted to say it's really cool that Black Friday we're gonna have Vegas and Kansas City playing NFL games here at 3:00 this afternoon.
Yep.
So it's just really cool. Anyway, Colorado. I have never seen a more talented yet undisciplined football team. Colorado. I mean, they have a billion penalties, and yet they have the most speed, the most talent. And I'm sorry, like I don't hate Coach Prime, but on the same token, you can't have that many penalties and be that undisciplined as a football team and think that coaching and that pride factor doesn't have an effect. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. I think it's shown in the big games.
Well, even in the must-have win games, Kansas last week.
Yeah, dude. It was just like that last year.
Yeah.
They are the thing that only helps them is, like you said, that they have insane talent. So much speed. I joke all the time. It's like it's 3rd and 45 because of Colorado's 6 penalties back to back. Shedeur Sanders is like, hold my beer. Hey Travis, give me a fly route, and he hits a first down. And
he dances around for like 20 seconds.
It's just crazy. It's just like watching a bunch of kids playing backyard football. So they're fun to watch, but yeah, I think that they are the most undisciplined team back from last year and on into this year. They're just so bad. I don't know what they need to do. They made some big changes and coaching changes with defense. Defense is on a whole different level. But I don't know what needs
compared to last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they've won more games. So I mean, they've made it. My problem is that they've made a jump because they have 8 wins already, which is more than double than what they had last year. The problem is that the talent that made you increase like that with Travis and Shador are gone.
Yep.
So, and you wonder if Coach Prime is going to be gone too. So it's almost like for as much talent and talking as they had to win 8 or 9 games and get into an average bowl game, and that's like your crowning achievement, is a little disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they would have gone to the playoff and maybe won a game or two, I think then you can have one.
I still think there's a possibility for them.
I don't think so. I think Arizona State, BYU. I mean, there's too many. You can't lose that third game.
They're not going to lose.
I know, but like you can't be a Big 12 team and lose. I was supposed to put that on silent. Yeah. Note to self, all you future podcasters out there, silence the phone. Sorry. But no, I just don't think that Colorado really grabbed their true and total potential by just being that undisciplined. And I think that stems partly because Coach Prime has a little bit of a pride type coaching attitude, and I think that rubs off on the players. And they have the swag, but they also have the undiscipline of not being in the right spot and doing the right thing and the fundamental things that you need in football to be a disciplined football team.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. I think they have a shot still, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Here's my question. How much does a conference championship loss play into getting a team into the playoff? I woke up thinking about
Yes,
because
because it hurts you almost to play in that game if you're an 8, 9, or 10 seed.
If it's very, I feel that that's true if it's it. Only reason why is if it has no effect. If our head coach, we're not playing.
Right.
We'll take the L and gear up to the playoffs.
Right.
the conference championship doesn't really, it's not even important.
Like if you're a 1 seed Texas or a 1 seed Oregon, and if you lose to Ohio State, the big thing is that if you lose that game and you're in potential of losing that game, you might, if the standings play out that way, lose that bye week.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of the incentive to make sure you play on Championship Saturday, is that like Oregon and Ohio State. Oregon loses to Ohio State, they're going to lose that bye because they will have traded losses.
Right.
And Ohio State will have just recently beat them. So then Ohio State would be the number 1 seed, or, the team with the bye week. That's why they kind of implemented those championship Saturday, or those championship conference bye weeks. So I think from that standpoint, you need to play, because I mean, it's basically essentially winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
If you win that game. Let's talk about, we've talked about a little bit from last week. Shifting gears going into this week. Let's just touch base on it. Michigan, Ohio State this week. The game. Which I want to have a debate with you. What rivalry? I've had this with other people. What rivalry is better, the Iron Bowl or Ohio State and Michigan? I think they're very even, but I would give a little bit of the edge to the Iron Bowl just because. But that hasn't been competitive in a long time. But anyway, your thoughts, Michigan and Ohio State going into this weekend.
First of all, I would say the Iron Bowl doesn't have the history.
Oh yeah, they do. They have really good history.
Trajectory. Ohio State's been playing Michigan for 100 years. That's like the longest rivalry almost.
Yeah, but the Iron Bowl, there's a
hatred.
There's a hatred between Ohio State and Michigan.
I don't see documentaries about the Iron Bowl. Why you can't see about the
Ever seen Rail Tide War Eagle? Listen, folks, you need to go if you want to.
He likes Auburn, so you're gonna hear.
You want to see a true rivalry documentary, watch Roll Tide, War Eagle. It is, and I think it's partially because it is in the South, and so they just do not like. It's just having been there, been to that game, seen what I've seen. It's hard to say there's something bigger. I would say over the last 4 or 5 years, it's hard to justify that the Ohio State-Michigan game isn't bigger just because of recency, competitiveness. But make no mistake, people in the North here need to go down and go to an Iron Bowl and actually experience it because that rivalry does match the Ohio State and Michigan rivalry. And I will say the same thing for the Iron Bowl people. The same thing for Auburn and Alabama because they have a lot of arrogance in the SEC as well.
Come up to the North.
Where they need to come to the big house and see an Ohio State Michigan rivalry because that I feel like the North and the South, they like when it comes to college football, they both have a level of arrogance. The South and the SEC is a little bit more in your face and beat our chests, and we have a right.
Well,
where the North is a little bit more passive aggressive.
Yes.
You know, like we're not going to be overly flamboyant and boisterous.
Yeah.
But we'll be passive aggressive and make you feel like crap.
Yeah.
So I think if you're in the North, go to an Iron Bowl. If you're in the South, go to a Michigan-Ohio State game. But if I had to give the edge, I would say Iron Bowl, just a slight. If I had to pick, gun to my head, if I had to pick, just because there's such nastiness down there.
I would love to get comments and for your take as you're listening, as you're watching, on who has the greatest rivalry. Maybe it's not even the Michigan-Ohio State. Maybe it's not the Iron Bowl. Maybe it's the Battle of Tobacco Road. Maybe it's North Carolina Duke. Maybe it's, Navy Armor. Maybe it's, so I'd be really curious to
Red Sox Yankees.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool like rivalries, Bears Packers, just different types of rivalries out there. But it's called the game. So it's not close. It is Michigan Ohio State.
The game.
It is. It's the game.
Yeah.
So
hey, I've seen people in churches when it comes to the Iron Bowl, women in a church claw each other over Auburn and Alabama.
That's good. That's good. Are you sure they weren't like possessed? They weren't at the altar? I know the churches you've been in, bro. I don't know.
Anyway, go ahead. We've debated rivalries. What are your thoughts on the game specifically? Does Michigan have a chance? I mean, they have a chance, but how good of a chance do they have? I don't think they have a prayer.
I always come and I'm going to back up Michigan. Here's the thing that I watched when they played Northwestern. Understanding Northwestern is nobody. They still hung over 50 points. Their offense is finding a little bit of a rhythm. Their running game is finding a little bit of a rhythm. Their defense is finding a little bit of a rhythm. It's a good time to find the rhythm. And as talked about so often when it comes to this game, specifically the last 5 to 7 years, is the team who can run is the team who's going to win. And so that's why we've been able to do it the last 3 years. I don't know if we've ran on them the last 3 years. I don't know if we can do it. There are holes in Ohio State's defense, believe it or not. I think it'll be an interesting game. I don't think Michigan wins. I do think Michigan comes out and they surprise some people, though. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think a 21.5 point spread is nuts. Maybe a drop to 20. I don't think that they're giving any respect to Michigan.
They're respecting the rivalry.
Right. They're not. Because here's the thing. It's a rivalry.
Yeah.
We've seen so often records are obsolete when it comes to these games. That's why you see Auburn, Alabama in that 2009 game or 2008 game, whenever that was. That's why you see, because it just, there's bad blood, there's hatred, there's animosity, there's anger, there's energy, these programs are built to beat said team.
Right. Let me ask you this: with all the changes that have happened with Michigan, with with Harbaugh leaving, we've talked pretty extensively about Harbaugh leaving, the changeover of the guard, more as your head coach. It's been a back and forth season. It's been a 500 season. I think if Michigan fans were honest with themselves, they would say this is kind of what they expected. Maybe a little bit better, maybe a little less, but yeah.
Yep.
If they win on Saturday, would you look back at this season as a success?
100%. And I think any true blue Michigan fan is going to say, doesn't matter. We could have lost every game, but if we beat Ohio State, it is that much.
Yep.
That rivalry is so sunk in deep. If we beat them, it's a win. Right. And then we're going to be concerned in the offseason, and we're going to complain and get angry.
Right.
But that game is so important.
Knowing this is a transition year.
Right.
Coming to grips, you've seen it, audience. You've seen him coming to grips with the fact that it's rough. Well, that it's a 500 football team, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit less, depending on the week.
Yep.
I'll tell you, which is what you told me before the season. You said, I don't think we're gonna be.
No,
you're as good. We're hoping for, I think you were hoping for 8 wins.
I was hoping.
And so, yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that, because it shows how big the rivalry is, but it kind of, okay, this is where we're at, but if we can win this game, now that's, because
Your feeling goes into the shoe. Oil knocks off Ohio State again.
And if that happens, does Ryan Day get fired? I put the whole Ohio landscape fans.
If he loses money, wins the Natty, he stays. If he wins the Natty, he stays. If he goes to the Natty, I think he stays. Anything short of that, he's gone. Yeah. If he loses on Saturday. Now, if he wins on Saturday, then I think he can probably lose in the semifinal or the final.
Right.
I can tell you, and you know this, the Ohio State fans are getting restless.
Yeah.
They're getting very restless because they've had C.J. Stroud, they've had all these great players, all this great offense.
Here, so Marvin.
Yep. And so you've had all these extreme weapons. You've always been top 2, top 3. And then you see Michigan come in and win a national championship.
Yep.
When you've been hanging there, trying to get a title since, I think last one was like 2013.
2015.
Yeah, 2014, something like that.
Yeah, something.
When they beat Oregon,
was it Oregon?
I think it was Oregon.
Maybe it was Oregon. Okay.
Anyway, it's been
check that.
It's been close to a decade, if not more, before Ohio State has won a national championship. But all those years, in that 10-year plus span, they've been really good.
Yeah.
So now you've seen your arch rival come in and scoop and take that. If
a middle of the road arch rival right now, this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you see Michigan come in and take that away from you yet again, because not only will they beat you in the rivalry game, they'll take the first round bye from you because Oregon will pretty much have it.
Yep.
And you won't, and you'll be literally playing in the first round of the college football playoff.
Yep.
I agree with you. There is way more pressure, and does Michigan smell blood in the water to really stick it to them? That's why these rivalry games are so important. I still think Ohio State wins by 2 touchdowns. Would I be shocked if it's close? No.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to bet, I would say 14 plus Ohio State. I mean, they're just that good, and they're at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big difference, is that if they were in the big house, I think you're looking at maybe a 7 to 10 point spread, maybe, 1-score game. On the road, in the shoe, it's been Michigan's won like last 3 times.
Yep.
I think this is Ohio State's time to just take care of business. But
I think it's fair. I think 98% of the world feels the same way. Ohio State's gonna win. It's just I would love to see them take it to the wire.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them win. I'd love to see them come to the road and just go on the road and upset them. Just don't have enough guts.
It would be it'd be the end of Ryan. It would be very close to the end of Ryan Day, and I think
the NCAA that would get raw.
Michigan fans would love to see that.
Oh, I mean, the fan base would light his house on fire. I don't even think, no one doesn't need to fire him. The fans will.
Yeah.
Literally fire him. Set his family on fire.
But in that situation, there's a lot of pressure.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, no way, bro. So anyway, it's going to be an interesting game. I'm hoping that I can get through the first quarter to watch.
Are you gonna be able to get through it?
I don't know. If Ohio State comes out and torches us, goes up 21-0 in the first quarter, I'm going to drive my car into a bridge.
And see, that's what's tough is that when they do that, when you seen that last week with Indiana.
Yep.
It's like as soon as Ohio State goes up 2 touchdowns, it's like you can see the other offense be deflated. Like, okay, there's no way we can catch up.
100%.
Army losing last week, that was kind of a bummer. The other game, South Carolina at Clemson.
That is a huge rivalry.
That could be very, very interesting. Clemson just on the outside. They're trying to get in. They're trying to get into that
And
playoff.
South Carolina's ruined sort of playoffs.
Like Vanderbilt, like Kansas, they are literally, they can beat anybody or they can lose to anybody.
In Florida.
And and Florida too. So
I think that's gonna be a fun one to watch. That's an angry rivalry. Having lived in Columbia and gone to 2 years straight of South Carolina football games and being inundated in culture, kind of what you're talking about.
Yep.
There really is nothing like SEC football and
Yeah.
fan base. Kind of what you were saying. It is insane. Probably the most fun, but dangerous.
Yeah.
In this game, there is such a hatred for each other. I mean, every year, they have like bench clearing brawls.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it fun.
Yeah. It's a very underrated rivalry.
It is. If you're in South Carolina, it's everything.
Yep.
It's absolutely everything.
You also got Texas. We have
A&M.
and A&M.
That'll be a good one.
A&M, God, man, they can never just finish.
Close it out.
They can't finish, man.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
It's
I
hard
think
to
Texas is due to lose, though. I think Texas is due to lose.
And A&M's at home. It's hard to play against 12th.
It's hard to play the 12th man.
And rivalry game.
So
I think
that might be my hot take. That might be
Your
my
hot
take
take-
to the
your hot take.
A&M beats Texas.
Okay. You want to go ahead and do it?
Let's do it.
All right.
My take it to the bank. This
Take
is
our
the take it to the bank segment. A&M beats Texas. I'm not going to give you a score, but I'm going to tell you that they will beat Texas.
Really?
Take it to the bank, A&M.
Very nice. Yeah. We'll do that. We're going to fix
Gears to Rebel.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave my take it to the bank for the NFL.
So 7 NFL. Harry Crap.
Yeah.
Do we start during the red light yet?
Let's do it. Let's Skin Prognosis coming up too here shortly.
Yeah, very shortly. We got to get this wrapped up. He's got to work, and
I know. We're in the middle of a work day. He's sick. He's like, I'm bringing him Campbell's soup.
Yeah, giving me your ties, stuff like that. It's been really kind, actually. So that's
why we didn't start inhaling cigar smoke. You can,
yeah.
But you know what? It's been over a week. He needed to get more content out there, so that is right.
Buffalo Bills. There's definitely some upward momentum.
I can't believe I can't. I'm the Bills. I treat like the Vikings. I very much so. Like I just can't get excited.
Correct.
The Vikings and the Bills, because me, I'm a kind of a little bit of a closet Bills fan, just because they've lost 4 Super Bowls, just like the
we get each other.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah.
Vikings have been way more successful than the Bills over the length of their franchise, but the Bills, there's just the Bills Mafia, the connection there, cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get excited for the Bills or the Vikings until they're in their championship games.
Right. That's true.
Do we watch? Do we cheer? Do we root for them?
Do we not and just hope to hear good?
Yeah, we don't. We do. But until they're in that championship game, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter to the point where if they lose, it ruins your week.
Right.
Like when I was younger, when the Vikings when the Vikings lost the playoff game, it sucked, right? It would ruin my week.
Yeah.
It would be disappointing. All those games don't matter until they're in the NFC Championship game.
Right.
And that's how I kind of feel with the Bills.
Yep. Yeah. I've learned over my 15 years of being a fan that they do nothing but let me down. But I'm excited they beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. So that was cool. But we gotta talk about the Thanksgiving Day game between the Bears and the Lions.
Oh my gosh, Matt Eberflus,
I've
it's nice knowing you.
I've never seen the Ohio State Oregon game of clock management and Will Howard not knowing what the heck he's doing was really, really bad. That was the worst clock management moment that I've ever seen in the league.
But he was trying to get down.
He was.
Didn't get down quick enough to call timeout.
I'm not even blamed. Shame on the coach. The coach should have bailed out Caleb Allen and called freaking time. Caleb Allen. Is that his
Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
You still on
fingernails, whatever.
fingernail?
Be aware of
you
the
did
damn clock.
I know.
He wasted 26 seconds.
Yep.
You're the quarterback.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I blame the coach 100%.
But Caleb's too looking at the clock.
I know, but
You
he
also have to make it like, oh, maybe I should, not walk to the lines.
So, couple things. Number one, anytime the Lions wins like that, you're so stop.
The bad scene that day.
I put maybe not 100%, but I would say probably 80 to 90%. I would put on Matt Eberflus. Number one, that was fireworthy. Number one, oh yeah, he's done. Monday, Matt Eberflus will not have a job. Take that to the bank. That's my take it to the bank.
He doesn't have a
Take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Monday, I'll say Tuesday. Tuesday, Matt Eberflus will be fired. Matt Eberflus will have lost his job and will have been fired by Tuesday this week.
Simply because of
Take it to the bank. Absolutely.
and only having a 4-win.
I don't think it's simply because of that, but it's been building and building and building. Number one, you have a rookie quarterback. Okay, when you have a rookie quarterback like that, you have to hold his hand.
Right.
I'm sorry, but it's the NFL.
Right.
Until he learns to take it over, you have to be there with him. Number two, when Caleb ran the play, they automatically reset the play clock, right? Once they reset everything, they reset the play clock, and then they're in their head.
Right.
Eberflus came out after the game and said that we were trying to re-rack the play, which tells me that they were telling him in his helmet, run it again, run it again, run it again, run it again, run it again. So as a rookie quarterback, you're trying to get everybody up to the line to hike the ball to get a playoff, and then they would have called timeout. Total failure. Number one, you don't have enough time to do that. Number two, clocking the ball takes way less time. Getting everybody up to the line to clock the ball takes way less time to run a play.
Right.
So call timeout, figure out the play you want to run that play, and if it's successful, or even if it's not successful, but clock's gonna stop.
Yep.
If it is successful, you run up and you clock it. That's what everybody does, because clocking the ball is so much quicker than running a freaking play. And so it's such, and Matt Eberflus came out and said, hope we can do better. It's like, dude, do better. Like,
Why don't you just
you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
And I have said this many times.
you're this very nice person. You just don't belong at the helm.
No. If you can't figure out time management, you're an idiot.
You don't deserve to live.
Idiot, like not it. Because we talked about this during the Ohio State and the Oregon game, and I was upset then.
Yeah.
You are paid millions and millions of dollars to learn how to read a freaking clock.
Yeah.
And use common sense 5th grade math
Yeah.
to determine what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And these people can't figure it out. I'm sorry. You brought it up and got me more fired up. Anyway,
I would love to hear your take on all of this as well. So if you have any thoughts, put it in the comments, because this is just.
I'm not even a Bears fan. I hate the
think
Bears.
He deserves to be fired over that. having a 4-loss pull-in season is already bad enough, but I thought that was so bad.
It's egregious.
Oh, this isn't Pop Warner football, and even there,
Yeah.
as that coach needs to be fired.
Right.
This dude needs to be. He proved to the world that he does not belong at the helm. I mean, we're in the crap. And it's already I was here in the town where everybody is.
In what world does running a full play take less time than running up to clock the football?
I don't know.
There's a reason teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, they don't do that.
No, right.
Running 26 seconds off
Holy
the clock.
crap, man.
And
Holy
I just, it's one thing if you didn't have timeouts, but even then, you run up and clock the ball to reset your team.
Right.
And I've never understood when you're in a 2-minute situation, when you have a long developing play like that is unsuccessful with a clock running and you're up against it, why they don't clock it more often.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to waste the down. You don't have enough downs to work with, bro. You got
Right.
maybe 2 more downs,
That's
and
it.
you're on second down, so it don't freaking matter.
Right. Right.
So him calling into Caleb to re-rack the play, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I can't stand people that don't know clock management, and it bothers me so much. And people are like, "Well, you're not in the NFL, you're the Monday morning quarterback." It's a clock. It's time.
It's very.
This isn't a scheme.
Right.
This isn't developing and coaching players. It's a clock.
Yeah.
It's math.
Yeah. Very simple.
Anyway, sorry. I'm done now. I'm trying to. I hate the Bears. I'm a Vikings fan. I hate the Bears. And even now, I don't want to see them under Matt Eberflus leadership because they don't deserve that.
They don't deserve that.
Yeah, I hate the Bears. I hope he's still their head coach when we play him.
Yeah, Mike.
But he's not going to be. My ticket to the bank, Matt Eberflus, fired by Tuesday.
That's impressive. That's an aggressive take to the bank.
He's done. He's done.
Anything else you want to talk about in the league, or do you want to go to the pigskin prognosis? The pigs against the spread.
We can go pigskin prognosis. I will say my Vikings are 9-2, and I'm
never happy. And I told them that they're gonna be at least a 10-win team, and they're definitely gonna be because who they got? They got
Arizona.
Arizona. I mean, come on, man.
All right, pigskin prognosis is where we take the 5 best games that we think for the NFL weekend, and I make the picks against the spread.
So here we go.
What do you got, Hayden?
We got the Chargers at the Falcons, and they got +1.5 for the Falcons.
That's a tight spread. The Falcons I know they're at home. Chargers played a really good competitive game against the Ravens last week.
I was so bummed that they lost.
I know because you just love Harbaugh do good, but
do.
the Harbaugh Bowl was very entertaining.
It was.
I think the Chargers are a 11-win. They're probably a 10 or 11-win team and could probably make some noise, maybe win a playoff game. I'm a believer in the Chargers. I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl, but this year, I think they're building something.
Yeah.
And to give a 1.5 to the Falcons, who have gotten the doors blown off them against Denver, and they're coming off a bye week now. Give me the Chargers, man. Give me the Chargers. That's a funk. I would smash the Chargers.
Oh,
if you're betting on this game, 100%. Because a 1.5, that ain't nothing.
Nope. I agree.
Give me Herbert.
Okay. We got the Steelers at the Bengals, and they got -2.5 for the Bengals.
Big rivalry game.
Huge rivalry
A
game.
lot of people just still believe in the Bengals. I'm going to go Steelers here. That's another game where it's like I'm going to take who's the better record, the better team, even though they're on the road. Give me the Steelers. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a close game. It's a rivalry game.
A fun one to watch.
It is fun. Steelers and Bengals is always fun. And that AFC North is always fun to watch.
No,
Yeah.
just the rivalries.
Yep.
It's a fun time.
So I'll give me the Steelers.
Okay. We got, I can't even read. Cardinals at the Vikings. They got Vikings at -3.5. Why are you laughing at me?
So I'm taking the Cardinals.
No, you're not.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
I need to hear why.
Because
That is insane. Outside of that, you love the Vikings, but you bet against them every week.
that's true. Give me the Cardinals. Offense was a little stagnant. Kyler's going to get it going. Vikings defense struggle against mobile quarterbacks. They seem to just struggle a bit more against mobile quarterbacks or against quarterbacks that can make a little bit of shuffly move, like that can buy enough time and that are accurate enough. Kyler's not super accurate, but he's going to be really hard to contain. I think they frustrate him a little bit, but I still think the Cardinals get enough offense to get it done.
Wow.
Vikings
In Minnesota,
in Minnesota,
cold,
couple things.
probably snow, probably at -35 degrees.
When they're indoors.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry about that.
It's gonna be a balmy 70, a balmy in US Bank. And the crowd's gonna be fired up because they've been on the road for the last 3 weeks. So they haven't had a home game in almost a month. So the crowd's gonna be fired up.
But screw it, Cardinals by 20.
Cardinals by 4 or 5.
Wow.
Because the big thing that I don't think people realize, Ivan Pace Jr., our middle linebacker, he is huge part to that defense. He's on injured reserve. And when he left the game against Chicago, that defense
Fell apart.
It got gashed pretty hard. And Caleb was making some plays. So I think the defense is going to give up a little bit more points than usual, and I don't think the offense can overcome it. We'll see.
All right, that's great.
I like the Vikings to lose.
To lose, just want to make sure everyone knows that.
Maybe the Cardinals.
Fan of the year over here.
But
You got the Eagles at the Ravens, and they got the Ravens at -3.
Eagles at Ravens.
Yep.
That's the game of the week, in my opinion.
Oh, it's gonna be a game. That'll be a fun one. That's because the Eagles, man, are flying around, dude. No one's really talking about the Eagles, but
They are now. I mean, they're 9-2.
Wow.
Ravens are at home.
Yeah, they're at the Ravens.
I'll take the Ravens.
Ooh.
I'll take the Ravens.
Take points.
I'm still a believer. Ravens and Texans, man, they have both just like Ravens, Texans, and Commanders. As soon as like you start to see something, they just kind of trail off, and I think they're going to do this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stay the course though, and
okay. So you got the Ravens.
Eagles are good though. Eagles are very good.
Okay.
Well,
I probably would agree with you, but if it was in Philly, Eagles.
Yeah.
You got the Niners, Bills. They got +6.5 for the Niners.
That's a lot of points, but I'll eat those points and take Josh Allen and the Bills.
Nice pick. Nice pick.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Something that's interesting is I looked at stats for the top like 15, 20 wide receivers in the NFL on receiving yards. There ain't one Buffalo Bill on there. And yet Josh Allen is playing at an MVP type level.
It's pretty wild.
He is I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Josh Allen is the best player in pro football right now. I'm just gonna say it.
I love your
He's the best player in pro football.
You think he's better than the Lions quarterback?
Jared Goff? Yeah, he's better than Jared Goff. He's better than Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh.
I would put Lamar on that level just because Lamar's an alien, just freak of nature.
He looks like an alien. Poor guy.
How fast he is.
Poor guy, dude. He's not a good looking.
He does have kind of.
Yeah, I'm not a alien.
He's got like a little bit of like alien predator that no, he's just incredible to watch. Yeah, Josh Allen's the best player in football right now. If I was starting a franchise, I was starting an NFL franchise, and I had the number 1 pick, and all the NFL players were all in one pool, I'd take Josh Allen.
Wow. Okay.
What he's doing with that team
with nobody.
And I think that's how he wants it. Like as soon as when he had Diggs, big play game and stuff like that, they were a little bit on the diva side. And so I think Josh is just playing back to playing basic football. And
It's his team.
Yeah.
Very, very clear.
Yeah, his team. He doesn't
He
have to
wasn't
make
sharing
anybody.
it.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have to make anybody happy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go out there on offense and go, oh man, if I don't get Diggs the ball here, he's just gonna rip me a new one on the sideline. He doesn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Just going and playing football, and he's playing really good football. So yeah, I'm taking the Bills, but those are my picks.
All right. You heard it here first, folks.
By the way, I'm 21-14 in my picks against the spread. 21-14. So still pretty good.
That's okay. I mean, what do we got here? We got 14-0 Minnesota over Wisconsin. So I'm talking
I
about
lose.
it's Minnesota sports, people. They always find.
By the way, real quick, did you see what I sent you the other day? Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. We can edit this out if we want to later, but I want to get your thoughts.
Did I see it? I think I might have. I vaguely remember something about.
This is for the Minnesota Wild. NHL player ruptures testicle after taking hockey shots.
I saw that. That was this morning news site, or last night at midnight, or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that pretty much sums up Minnesota sports right there. Oh yeah, dude. I can't imagine.
We're not gonna get into it, but I just want to make sure that
he just wants to.
If there was an analogy or
like a best sum up,
yes, Minnesota sports, it would be that.
That's fantastic.
Anyway, final thoughts?
Nah, just great next couple of days. 3 days of great football.
Yep.
Open
Friday,
and
Saturday, and Sunday. It's gonna be great.
So pretty amped up about it. So I'm excited to come back and be highlighting. I wonder what we're gonna talk about next week.
Yeah.
About all the drama and all the things that happened, because this is when it happens.
Yep.
It started happening last week, but I think this is when it really happens and takes off. So,
and I'm gonna be excited to actually smoke a cigar again.
Yeah, it'd be nice to, puff one out here soon. Right now, I feel like I've smoked about 180 a day for the last 30 years. It's probably how I sound too. So
yeah,
there you have it. So anything on your end?
Nope, that's about it. I know it's a cigar sports podcast, but we got. I do want to mention this. Next week, I'm going to be testing out a Padron 1964. That's what I got reserved and ready to go.
Ooh.
And I'm really excited to try that. It's a little bit of a step down from the Padron 1926. So I'm going to be smoking that next week. Going to be very exciting. I don't even know if he's going to be smoking next week.
He's like on this. But my goal is, and I have a Opus X on tap.
Do you?
I do. So
anybody knows me knows that my Opus X is a Lost City.
Yeah.
Opus X Lost City is my favorite cigar of all time. Of all time. An Opus X Lost City. So
there you have it.
You gonna be testing that out? You gonna test it out next week, or you just got it kind of reserved?
It is on tap. I'm gonna just sit on it, just kind of contemplate, think about it.
Because let me tell you something, that's a special cigar.
It really is. It's $35 stick where I got it. So,
but it's really good.
It's great. It's a good cigar. So,
all right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back with you next week. And until then, make sure you get into your humidor today and go and watch some sports.